Hello friends, I'm here with Lefede. You can see we've just washed him a little bit, getting the sweat off from today's work, and we're about to tie him up so he can stand and dry. So here are my top 3 tips or things to think about and consider if you must tie your horse up. Okay, so tip number 1, when tying up a horse, it doesn't matter if it's outside or if it's inside the stable, the first thing we need to have is patience and independence in the horse. So I usually do this when I'm developing a relationship with my horses, I like to back him up as far as I can away from me without the rope being tight. So it's loose here, and just have him stand there. And then I actually drop the rope. So I should be able to walk around and asking him to take the responsibility of staying put on that spot. So I should be able to go over here, pet the cat, and if he moves away, I'll just gently put him back. And then I should be able to go and pet the cat, like carry this away. I should be able to go into the stable. And let's see, there, just gently put him back. So I'm keeping an eye on him, but I'm teaching him that it's his responsibility of staying put there. So I should be able to go into the stables, like pick up stuff, come out again, whatever. Oh, hey, Mr. Buddy. It's your responsibility to stay there. And then teaching him patience, independence, and responsibility of staying put on his own so that he's not dependent on being with me for safety, but he can actually stand there on his own, think about it, and be relaxed as well. So that's tip number 1. So tip number 2. Tip number 2 is to have a horse feeling safe when unforeseen things happen. So what we can do if we have a rope or if we have a stick with this, we can do something like this to really help a horse understand that the only thing that matters and what he needs to do if something strange or unforeseen thing happens, like a twirling thing or maybe a cat jumping or a dog barking or whatever things happen, that he can understand that relaxation is the way forward. So I like to do things like this also to help my horse be really safe and really understand like sound, movement, energy that doesn't affect him in any way because it's not about him in any way. And therefore he can also, while he is patient, while he's standing on his own waiting, he can also kind of handle if something unforeseen happens, like a dog, a cat, or some bird, or whatever thing comes and happens. Then we can really have him strong and patient and happy. So here's the 3rd tip, the last tip of actually tying up a horse. And I'm not a big believer in tying up our horses, especially not if it's something that we feel we have to do. We must tie up our horses to do stuff, saddle, fix the feet and all that stuff. Tying should just be like a simple convenient if you're all alone and you need to do something and you don't want to hold the horse. But we shouldn't tie a horse up because we have to, because the horse can't stand still. Then he needs more preparation. But how I tie up the horse is that I have a round thing like this. So I'll just wrap it around in a way that he is close enough so that it can be slack, but it's not long enough so that he can get his head too far down and maybe stepping all over and stuff like that. So I'll just do this, wrap it around like this. But as you also can see, now I have a big wide one and it's made of wood, so it's not really moving that much. But I tie it underneath first. So I take the rope like this. I'll take it here and then I take it underneath, not over on top. Because if I take it over on top, and let's say the horse's head, he goes a little forward like this, you can see it gets down there and then it's actually shorter. And then all of a sudden he's super caught and he can't move at all. And then the horse can panic and stuff like that. So what I do is I'll take it like this. I'll take it underneath here and make it kind of short but loose. So even though he goes over with his head like this, then it just falls down there and it's the same length again. And then I just wrap it around as few times as I can for it to be effective enough to stop the horse. And it's individual. Some horses pull a little bit more than others. Like, I don't think he will pull that much, so he's very sensitive. But if he goes like this, and I'll ask him to move a little bit. So let's see, if I ask him to move a little bit here. Can you move a little bit more? So there, can you see he goes forward again. So this is enough for him. He's very sensitive, so he doesn't need it wrapped around a lot. But some horses, they pull a little bit more, and then you can see if I pull here, I can actually pull it off like this if I use some strength. So that's the point of it all. So he's not really tied up with a knot that can't get loose. He's just wrapped around. And if I need more, I'll just take it one more time like this. And then like now, I can't really pull it. If I really pull, I can't, but a horse would be able to with this. And of course, I have a big wide one made of wood. It sticks a little bit more. If I have a thinner one, it sticks a little bit less. And also if it's made of iron, if you have an iron tube or so, it's a little bit more slippery. So then we need more wraps around if it's made of something else. That's something for you to kind of figure out what's needed with your horse. But this is a way to tie your horse without tying him so he's loose, so he's completely stuck. But here, every horse can pull this off and get loose if he have to, so he doesn't injure himself in case of an emergency. And it's also quite easy for us people to go and get. We don't need to tie up a knot or cut the rope because it's been so tight that you can't get it up. This is the way I do it. Just remember, if you are tying your horse to something that doesn't break or go up like this, then you don't tie it in a rope halter, because the rope halter won't break and it can actually severely damage your horse. But since I'm not tying up my horse, I'm just wrapping it around here, it's perfectly fine to use a rope halter. But otherwise, I wouldn't tie my horse up. And also here in Sweden, the law clearly states that if you are tying up your horse, you're not allowed to use a rope halter. It has to be made out of leather or nylon, because those kind of halters, they have weak spots, and they will then break if the horse was to pull and the rope is tied up. But here, well, it's not a problem. He can just pull it loose and nothing will happen and he won't go into a panic mode. So those are my top 3 tips or things to think about while tying up. So you can easily understand that the most important things is not how you tie the horse. It's more about what kind of horse are you actually tying up. So make sure you have a patient horse, an independent horse, a confident horse, and a horse that knows how to handle unforeseen things, because then you can have him wrapped up here and you can go and do all of your stuff independently of the horse, and the horse will just know, okay, I just have to stand here patiently and wait until I can get loose. And now we can just have him stand there and he can dry up without rolling and get dirty all over again. Hope you liked this video. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, click that little bell icon, and always make sure that you make a difference when tying up your horse.